Hey, it's great weather out. I could go for a walk on the beach, or I could talk about video games. Hey, why not do both? Hello, universe. I'm Joey, and I'm here to talk about Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah, if there's three things I like to talk about, it's Star Trek, Ghostbusters, and Sonic the Hedgehog. Well, I'm not too happy with any of those anymore. I'm just not happy with them anymore. But I might be happy with Sonic the Hedgehog again. Stay tuned and find out why. Well, as July comes to an end, I look back at, the last few years or more, and I've watched Star Trek turn to crap as of 2009. Every plot point in it was so horribly stupid. And then there was the follow-up Into Darkness, which didn't have as many stupid and corny plot points, but when they resurrected Kirk with Khan's blood, it's like, yeah, that matches the stupid of, that part where Kirk gets dumped on an ice world and then finds everybody he just happens to need, or the fact that they gave Kirk command of the Enterprise despite the fact he was flunking out of Starfleet Academy. Oh god, it's so horrible. It's like it's dumber than any Transformer movie that's not Transformers 2. And then there was Ghostbusters. The real Ghostbusters, Extreme Ghostbusters. And movies. And Ghostbusters the video game. So much good. But then Sony finally decided to do something with Ghostbusters. And it was a reboot. And rather than try to win over the fans, they made the worst fucking movie possible. And then when people weren't happy with it, they tried to label them misogynists.
This is just wrong.
God damn. Star Trek, Ghostbusters, you're all dead. And then there was Sonic the Hedgehog. The best 2D platformer of the 16-bit era was the Sonic the Hedgehog series. Sonic 1, Sonic CD, Sonic 2, Sonic 3, Sonic and Knuckles. You know what? I think Knuckles Chaotix is a bit underrated as well. Might not be as good as the other ones, but it was good. Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2, two of my all-time favorite games. The story to them took the Sonic the Hedgehog universe exactly where I was hoping they would. A combination of cartoonishness and a juxtaposition of dark, severe seriousness that I thought worked just perfect. That was exactly what I always hoped they would have done with the Sonic series, looking at the potential for its mythology to be used. It was great, but then along came Sonic Heroes. I didn't care much for Sonic Heroes. I really loved Shadow the Hedgehog, though. I felt it played as much like Sonic Adventure 1 and Sonic Adventure 2 as I would have hoped, but a lot of people had problems with Shadow the Hedgehog, but I loved that one myself. Then along came Sonic the Hedgehog 2006, and Sonic had been ruined ever since. With the exception of maybe Sonic Chronicles by BioWare, that Sonic Chronicles was excellent. Sonic Riders Zero Gravity was excellent, even though the first Sonic Riders was crap. But there's been so few good Sonic games. And people often think of Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 as the worst video game ever, and I say, no. Just play Sonic the Hedgehog and the Secret Rings, or Sonic Unleashed, and you'll find a worse game. And the sad thing is, like, I cannot consider Sonic 2006 to be worse than either of those other Sonic games, but the sad thing is, Sonic 2006 is more glitchy than those other games. Those other games are just programmed so much worse. Although in the case of Sonic Unleashed, if you play the Wii version with the GameCube controller as the Werehog, that's actually alright gameplay. But playing as Sonic, it's horrible. Sonic's a little bit better on the Xbox 360, but the Werehog is worse. And then Sonic gets worse as you get more abilities. They just kind of, just the control scheme is just horrible. Ugh. Sonic the Hedgehog really turned to crap. And some people are happy with Sonic Colors and Sonic Generations. To me, that's what ruined Sonic for me. When the previous Sonic games were bad because, well, it seemed like they were rushed and unplanned. But at least when I looked at the soundtrack and the story for Sonic 2006, I realized they were attempting something amazing, even if it had horrible gameplay. And even the Secret Rings and the Black Knight games and Unleashed. It looked like there was an attempt at substance that was just rushed and turned to crap. When I played Sonic Colors, and it was playable, but so horribly boring, and with such a yuck, minutia storyline, I was like, ugh, Sonic's really dying, in my opinion. And then Sonic Generations just made it worse for me. Sonic Generations had somewhat better gameplay than Sonic Colors, but it felt like I was playing, the Sonic Gems collection. In the Sonic Gems collection, which has Sonic R, and I consider Sonic R better on the Saturn than on the GameCube in the Sonic Gems collection. But the Sonic Gems collection also had, in addition to have Sonic R and Sonic the Fighters and Sonic CD, in addition to those, it also had some unlockable bonus games that you could play demos of, just demos, because the full games were available on the Sonic Mega Collection. To me, Sonic Generations seemed like a glorified version of just playing the demos in the Sonic Gems collection. Tied together with a story that was so weak and pathetic it was almost insulting, and the soundtrack wasn't bad, but that was just because it was remixes of previous games. So to me, Sonic Generations just bored me and really disappointed me. It further cemented in my mind the fact that Sonic the Hedgehog as a game series was dead to me. And I had survived through a lot of crappy games, but with Sonic Colors and Sonic Generations, that just killed Sonic the Hedgehog for me. And I did get Sonic the Lost World and found it a little bit better than the last two, but not enough to get me back into Sonic the Hedgehog. A lot of people really hated Sonic Boom, and I didn't really care too much for it, and I didn't play all the way through it. But I actually liked it better than Sonic Colors or Sonic Generations. But I'm not praising the game, I'm just saying I found it more interesting and enjoyable than Sonic Colors or Sonic Generations. And trust me, that's no compliment. So, Sonic's dead to me. At least the comic's going pretty good. They really should bring back the Mega Man comic that crossed over with Sonic so many times. So, Sonic's dead. But wait, this month, it got good. Things are looking good. Sonic Mania? A new game? Sonic Mania? That looks awesome. That looks like it's gonna play like the old 16-bit Sonic the Hedgehog games, the 2D games. That looks outrageously awesome. That's amazing. I don't know if it'll actually be good when I actually play it, but it looks so good, it gives me hope. Sonic Mania looks awesome. And then Project Sonic. It looks like a follow-up to Sonic Generations. It looks like it might be using the splitting of the timeline concept that could have resulted from Sonic Generations. It looks like it could be using that and putting it to good use, because it looks like it might have a fascinatingly dark or serious story, the likes of which I really miss in the Sonic games. That sort of like background plot development that made Sonic interesting. Even that crappy Sonic X television show was actually not bad, because every now and then it borrowed elements from the video games, which was more interesting in the video games, but made Sonic X enjoyable. The Sonic the Hedgehog universe could really use a game like what Project Sonic looks like it might be. I don't know for sure these are going to be good games, but all of a sudden I'm hopeful for a good Sonic game. And all I had to do to wait for a good Sonic game was sit back and watch Star Trek and Ghostbusters turn to crap. But it looks like Sonic the Hedgehog might be finally washing some of the crap off of himself. Sonic might be back. I lost Ghostbusters, I lost Star Trek, but maybe, just maybe, I'll have Sonic the Hedgehog again.